Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam.
How is everybody doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So guys, last time we wrapped up the story of which prophet?
Sulaiman.
Sulaiman alayhi salam. Who is the son of?
Dawood alayhi salam.
Dawood alayhi salam. Okay. Dawood alayhi salam fought as a teenager in the army of? Okay, Amna? Talut. Against? Okay, Muhammad? Jalut. What do you call Jalut in English? Okay, Muhammad knows. Okay. Goliath. Very good. Okay. Now, the army of Talut was tested with what before they entered the battlefield? Yes, Ibrahim.
So they were tested, like they had to. Dawood ordered them to drink water from the lake, and he said to only drink one sip. So then some people drank a lot, and they were taken out of the army.
Okay, so they found themselves do not have enough courage to fight the massive army of Jalut. So they refused to fight. Okay, so in the army of Talut against Jalut, how many people were there on the side of Dawood alayhi salam, or in the army of Talut? The size of his army was Ibrahim Ikram. Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, Hamza Rahman.
1,000.
No. Let's see. Okay, Muhammad.
18,000.
No.
81,000. About 3,000.
No, there were 313 people. That's about it. Okay, the rest of the people drank the water. Only 313 did not. They only drank a little bit.
I thought you were talking about Jalut's army.
No, I'm talking about Talut's army.
Oh.
Jalut army, we don't know how many men were there. Anyway, so Dawood alayhi salam killed Goliath or Jalut with what?
A sling.
A sling. Very good. Okay. So the prophet that we would like to talk about today is the Prophet Ayub alayhi salam. Okay. Prophet Ayub alayhi salam, in some books, have been written right after Ibrahim alayhi salam, in some books after Ismail and Ishaq alayhi salam, in some books after, for example, one of the books that I'm reading is about after Sulaiman alayhi salam. So the reason is that we do not really know exactly when he came, and whose family he was from. So different historians have written different things about him. Some people say that he was in the times of Ibrahim alayhi salam, but in a later times of Ibrahim alayhi salam, maybe around the same time when Ishaq alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam were around. Some people say that he was around the time of Lut alayhi salam. Some people say that he is around Yusuf alayhi salam. Some people say he is between Yusuf and Musa alayhi salam. So exactly when he came is unknown. Quran doesn't talk about it. Some people are of the view that he is from the descendants of Ibrahim alayhi salam. through through Ishaq alayhi salam, another son, not Yaqub alayhi salam. Some people say, no, he's from the descendants of Yaqub alayhi salam. So there are so many different point of views. It's unbelievable. If you read like 15 books, you'll probably find 6, 7 different opinions about him, who exactly he was. Some people say that he was an Arab prophet. He was sent towards the people of Arabia, even though you find him mentioned in the Old Testament, Torah. He is known by the name of Job, J-O-B. It's not Job, it is Job. That is Ayub alayhi salam in Arabic. Ayub alayhi salam, some people say that he preached the Romans as well. So he was actually situated in the lands which was very close to the Roman lands. Of course, the Romans were not around at that time when Ayub alayhi salam was, but those lands which were later on occupied by Romans. Whatever is the case, it's a very important story in the Quran. Ayub alayhi salam is mentioned only four times or 4 places or 4 surahs in the Quran. One is Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 163, Surah Al-An'am, Ayah 84, Surah Al-Anbiya, Ayahs 83 and 84, and Surah Saad, Ayahs 41 through 44. So that's where he's mentioned. Anyway, whatever was his lineage, we're not really concerned about that. But Ayub alayhi salam's story talks about patience, tolerance, thankfulness. That's basically the gist or the main point of the story. Ayub alayhi salam was a very wealthy guy. He was so wealthy that you can't even imagine. He had massive lands. He had a massive family, many children, a lot of cattle, a lot of farmland, a lot of riches. And he was the prophet of God. But he was tested. He was tested over and over again for patience. He is a test of patience. And he passed the test. His family, all of his kids died on the same day. As the house that they were all sitting and feasting, the ceiling fell on them and everybody died. Then his wealth started going away. His farms were getting destroyed. His cattle died. And he was thankful throughout the process. He was, oh Allah, everything was given to me by you, and you have every right to take it back. And I must not complain about it. That was his attitude. And then he fell sick. There was only one person left in his family, and that was his wife. That's about it. His wife would take care of him. The news of his illness spread in the town, and the people started distancing him away from him. And after some time, they said, Ayub, it is in the best interest of everybody so that we don't get your whatever you have. Nobody knows what you have. No doctor can figure out what's wrong with you. If you can move out of the town. So he moved out of the town, and he had nothing left on him, as everything was either sold in this time or was destroyed. So his wife started working in people's houses as maid, as cook, whatever work she could find, she would work for them. She would get a little bit of earning. And that's how Ayub alayhi salam and his wife were living their life. But after a little while, people were even more scared. They told his wife that don't come and work in our house because maybe you may carry the same disease that Ayub alayhi salam has, and you be a carrier and we may get sick. One after another, different houses started refusing her, and she too had no work left. Ayub alayhi salam would be constantly visited by 2 fellow men. Some people call those 2 people his friends. Some people say they were his brothers. But anyway, they would come once in the morning and once in the evening. They will visit him. Ayub alayhi salam had very little belongings in his little house that he set up. And one day, he heard that his wife was saying something that was like a little bit of a complaining words. And he got very mad. He said it has been, some people say 7 years, some people say 13, some people say 3, some people say more. He was in that problem for years, not days, not months, and years he was in that situation, but he didn't complain. He was always thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when he heard these words of complaint from his wife, he's like, when I get better, I'll punish you. Why did you say these words of complaint? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things easy for him. And he said, Ayub, when he got better, I'll tell you what happens how he got better. That when he got better, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ayub, take something very soft and touch her, and that way you will be able to fulfill what you said, your oath. And she was with you all this time. So in a moment, she basically said those words. She didn't mean those words. So anyway, Ayub alayhi salam continued to live like that for some time. And the two people who used to visit him also started getting worried about him. And they said, we don't know what happened to Ayub. Why is he not getting cured? And they started feeling bad for him. And Ayub alayhi salam made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a beautiful dua it is. It is a dua with no complaints. He said, Anni massani ad-durr wa anta arhamur rahimin. Oh Allah, I have been struck with something bad, and you are the most merciful. That's it. No complaints, nothing. I'm struck with something bad, and you are the most merciful. So please take care of things. That's the only dua he would say. That's in the Quran, in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah number 83. Anni massani ad-durr wa anta arhamur rahimin. So again, he continued to make the dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one day when his wife was outside of the house, because she used to come back when she couldn't find work and ask Ayub alayhi salam if you need any help, she would help him and then would go out. So one day she did not return for some time, and Ayub alayhi salam was sitting by himself in the tent. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ayub, get up and hit the ground with your feet. And Ayub alayhi salam got up and hit the ground with his feet, and the water started flowing out of the ground. It was a clean, pure water, a little bit colder. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ayub, take some of this water and take a shower. Ayub alayhi salam started taking shower from that water. There was a special water that had cure for him. So as he started taking shower, he started feeling better. Every time he would put water on him, he would feel better, so better that at the end of the shower, he became like a young man that he was before he was sick. His age, he could not, like whatever he looked like 10, 15 years ago, that's how he was looking at the end of the shower. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ayub, drink from this water. So he also drank from that water, and he felt so refreshed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered an angel to bring clothes from Jannah for him. So clothes were brought for him, and he wore those clothes, and he sat in the corner of the tent. His wife came after a little while, and she started looking around, and she couldn't find Ayub. And she looked at this man that was sitting in the corner, that was Ayub alayhi salam, wearing clothes from Jannah. And she looked at him and said, you know what? Young man, have you seen my husband? He used to be here. I hope nothing happened to him. I hope nobody hurt him. He was by himself. Have you seen him? When he was younger, he looked like you, by the way. But where did he go? What are you doing in my tent? And Ayub alayhi salam said, it is me, Ayub. She said, how is that possible? And he said, it is me. Allah cured me. See that water? That Allah's blessing. I've been cured. And then she also got her age revised back to, she also turned young when she was many years ago when Ayub alayhi salam got all of this problem started. So It basically was a reversal for both of them. And then they had little sacks or bushels of wheat and barley in their tent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned the wheat into gold and the barley into silver. So he got so much wealth. So he, with all this money, went back and he established himself again and he became rich again. He bought all this land. He started his business. He had cattle. He built his houses. And Allah said, Ayub, we will give you back all your children. Some people say that he got the same children back. Some say that he got more children, but his number of children were doubled than what he had before. Some people say he had 26 children. And he lived for another 140 years. And he saw 4 generations. When he passed away, 4 generations means what? Great, great grandfather, right? Great, great grandfather. So when he passed away, he was surrounded by his great, great grandchildren. He had like hundreds and hundreds of people just in his family. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him so much because he was patient. He did not complain. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him, Inna wajadnahu sabiran. We found him extremely patient. Ni'mal abdu. And he was such a blessed servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Innahu awwab. He was among those people that would always call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. Such a beautiful story of Ayub alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Saad says, وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ أَهْلَهُ. And we gave him back his family. وَمِثْلَهُمْ. And double that. مَعَهُمْ. With them. رَحْمَةً مِنَّا. It was mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَذِكْرَى لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. And this story has a great message for anybody who wants to learn. So the story of Ayub alayhi salam in its wealth has the message of patience. We all go through so much and we start complaining on little things. You know, sometimes kids are crying. What happened? You see this? And this is a tiny bit of a microscopic scrape that doesn't even need any attention. You know, crying. What went wrong? Oh, I forgot. You forgot why you were crying. Dad, my sister did this to me. Well, but that was yesterday. Yeah, but I didn't tell you. I only told Mom about it. So you want her to get in trouble twice. You know how we are. So it has to be patience. And that patience is like very important. You know, you get upset because your mom or your dad got upset. You are upset because they got upset. You are not concerned about why they got upset. Probably you did something that upset them. So think about it. I shouldn't repeat that. No, I will get upset. So they will come to me and say, hey, what happened? I'm like, remember you were mad at me 2 hours ago? I was like, okay. So it's so anyway, the story of Ayub alayhi salam tells us to be patient. Even in the classroom, be patient. You know, when little kids, teacher, I know the answer. Come on, you got to give other people a chance too. No, I know it.
No, I know the answer.
Yeah, it's something that, you got to learn. You got to wait your turn. You cannot be first all the time. You cannot be just the best all the time. Other people also can get a chance. So you got to be patient in everything in life. Okay. So anyway, we will now turn to the questions. Okay. Aliza has a question. Yes, Aliza.
Didn't he have to touch his wife with something soft?
Yeah, he did.
He did?
He did. Yeah. So after he got cured, he gathered 100 pieces of soft bushels. And because he said, I will punish you with something 100 times. So he just touched those and that's it. His thing was over, I mean. Yeah. Anybody else has any other question? So okay, Isma Latif. Yes, go ahead. Isma, you have a question? Yeah.
This is me. So my name is Shane. This is me.
Okay.
So my question was that when was Ayub alayhi salam born? Like where and when was he born?
We don't know. We don't know exactly when he was born, but he was born somewhere after Ibrahim alayhi salam, but before Musa alayhi salam. So we don't really know exactly. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Hamza?
My question is, when you were talking about the Prophet, you only said like what his test did. He was there at that time, were there non-believers that he had to guide to become believers?
Well, his people, the people that he was with, were not non-believers, because not all the prophets are sent to the disbelievers. Like Sulaiman alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam, they were the prophets where everybody was a believer, right?
Wait, but did he even come across non-believers?
No, he did not. He was a prophet that was sent among the believers, and he lived all his life among the believers. Yes, in some books we do find that after he passed away, a few generations after him, people deviated from the correct path. They left the correct path and they started doing idol worshiping and stuff like that. But in his times, they were believers. Yusra, yes.
Does the water still flow?
No, it doesn't. It was only for him. And after that, it was taken away.
What was that water called?
We don't know the name of it. It was just like a water that gushed out of the ground just for him as a miracle when he tapped his foot on it. And that was only for him.
Like Zamzam?
No, it wasn't Zamzam. Zamzam is in Makkah. You can say something like Ismail Islam rubbed his feet against the ground and the water started coming out, which was called Zamzam. So something very similar happened with Ayub al-Islam, but Zamzam was for everybody and is still for everybody. And that water was the water of cure. And that water of cure was only for Ayub al-Islam.
Okay.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there was one very interesting thing. When he was taking shower, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent some gold bugs that were flying or hopping around. So he grabbed a couple of them and put it in his clothes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ayub, you're already so blessed, aren't you? And Ayub al-Islam said, yeah, but I want more blessings. I want these gold bugs. Okay, Hamza, you have more question? Okay, Yusra, do you have another question? Okay, so that was the story of Ayub alayhi salam.
Wait, I do have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So since he didn't do anything with the believers or the non-believers, what was the point of like his coming down there and being a prophet?
Prophets are sent not only to the non-believers, but are also sent to the believers so that they remain guided. Like Sulaiman alayhi salam was among the believers so that they remain guided, right? Zakaria alayhi salam was among the believers so that they remain guided. Yahya alayhi salam was among the believers so that they remain guided. Ishaq alayhi salam was also among the believers so that they remain guided. So was Yaqub alayhi salam. So were the people of Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam. They were the believers. So sometimes for the guidance of believers, also the prophets came. It's not always because of the non-believers. Okay? Yusra, you have another question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he ever go back to the town?
Yes, of course. He moved back. He settled there. Yes. He purchased everything that he lost, or he rebuilt everything that he lost. And yes, yeah, he got his entire life back with many folds more. Many folds more. Okay. So, inshallah, next time we will look at the story of Uzair alayhi salam and Zakaria alayhi salam. That will be our focus for next time, inshallah. If not Zakaria alayhi salam, at least Uzair alayhi salam, and probably maybe both.
When will you post this video on YouTube?
I will try to do it today, if not tomorrow. And I will send the link in the WhatsApp group. Okay? Muhammad, you have a question? Or you, no? Okay. Okay, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Allah Hafiz.
Islam. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.